Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Saturday Discussion Series. It is May 4th, 2019, and on this cloudy yet gloomy day, it's another one here in the New York area. There is some sadness with my personal life besides my issues with my weight, which, again, when the time comes, I'll give you all an update on that. But, yes, sure my face is correct. On a serious note, I am titling this video for a good reason, and that is, of course, some sad news about my 10-year-old dog. Of course, the one and only Teddy Dog, of course. I have to share with you all some unfortunate news that he was put down this past Wednesday, May the 1st. I am upset about this. I was hoping that maybe he would have one more year left to give, but that wasn't the case. He had to get put down for a reason that I will talk to you all about right now. So, about a couple weeks ago, Teddy had surgery to take a look at possibly another tumor. Apparently, this tumor was worse than the first tumor that he had when he was younger. And I know for a fact, and I do apologize for the desktop audio, but getting back on track, the tumor first time around was removed. Second time, I don't remember what this is the one that took the cake. This is the one that took the cake, literally. So, the tumor really wasn't completely removed. There was a negative effect of the last surgery, and honestly, it was starting to make a comeback. And the worst part that made it even worse was when we put Teddy in the kennel while we were in Maryland. This was, I believe, last Wednesday, and I have the date that the vet had told us, and he was keeping an eye on Teddy while we were gone. Back on the 24th, and this is what he told my dad, that Teddy had grown inside, and he noticed something was wrong with Teddy. He noticed something was wrong. He didn't remember what it was, because he was upset about it, because, my vet has had a close emotional attachment with my dog as well, because, remember, he is a rare bred dog, and I'll get into what the breed was in just a second, because I did a video about that 2 years ago, which I'll card right now if you want to see Teddy in its prime. But getting back to the point, the vet said that Teddy had something in his neck, and it could pop at any time. He could bleed from it. And that wasn't good. And the worst part about the surgery, from what my vet had said, was Teddy's heart over time has gotten weaker. Now, he didn't mention anything about the size of his heart, but since with his age and with the factor of how many surgeries he's gone through, it is honestly, it wasn't a good decision to put him through another surgery. And we also had found out that we were going to take him to a specialist to get the surgery done again, and it almost would have cost us $8,000. It was 7,500 exactly, but we didn't want to risk an expensive surgery and then wondered if he would pass away just from the anesthesia and wondering if his heart could take it anymore. So me and my parents had discussed this over time, and this was on Sunday, and we came to the decision that it's best to just make sure that he was in a better place. And again, I'm very upset about this because I've had this dog since he was a puppy, and I'll get into what had led up to the thumbnail. Well, besides that, but let's get started. So, Teddy Dog was born in June of 2008. Back in August, we saw that a breeder was listing Teddy's breed for sale. It was a 631 number, we called it. We took a chance because we were researching the breed even before we called. We had learned about the breed from a dog magazine called Dog Fancy because we wanted a dog at the time. And originally I wanted a boxer. But the issue with the boxer was the boxer didn't... I mean, generally they're okay, but cancer was the problem. And I would have never thought with the Borbal that, cancer would be an issue. The Borbal breed is generally in good health, and Teddy looked like he was in good health even before we put him down. But remember this, as I said this earlier, with the surgery and with everything, a dog's life is just precious. One day they could be healthy, and then the next, you don't know. You don't really know if your precious, adorable, bare-faced animal, and he looked like a bear in a way to me, he did, could give out in my kitchen. I had an ex-girlfriend's dog that was around for a while. I'm not going to say who she was, but she told me that when her dog passed away in 2013, that dog just passed out right in the kitchen. And I didn't want to go through that emotion. I wanted to know that Teddy was in a good place. And getting back to the story of Teddy, we'll go back to that right now. So we got Teddy in August of 2008. We went through baby steps as a puppy. And I want to thank Bob Barker. Yes, I'm going to thank him for the whole spay and the neutering thing. Because, the pet population, you have to control it. I do agree. I've agreed over time with him that you don't control the pet population, then you could have inbreeding, and that's not good. But we did that for that reason, and I'm not going to get into more of that, but he was when he was a puppy. I think this was about 6 to 8 months. But let's continue with the story. So, whenever we had somebody come to our house, he would always be alert. He would always start barking, and I was used to it. And in the morning, especially on the weekends, over time, and I had my door open when the windows were open in my house, and I even had the windows open because my room never was circulated with heat, but over the time we did that. This room I'm in right now, on the weekends I heard Teddy moan because he was hungry, and he always had a big appetite. And remember, he was a big dog. So with Teddy over time, when we first got him, I think he was about 45, 50 pounds, but then he grew drastically, and he got up to one time around 140, because my dad used to walk him a lot. Over time, Teddy got weak, and he had arthritis when he was about, I would say, 8 or 9 years old. But what was I going to get to? My point about Teddy's life. So over time, my dad gave him an outdoor run to go into, and that was Teddy's yard, as we called it. And Teddy loved his run. In the summer, he would lay down on his side and just enjoy the sun. And he loved his sunbats. Now, it didn't make his fur lighter, but I was used to it over time when Teddy did that. And now we're going to get to the sad part of Teddy's decline. And I remember the date very well, because if you remember, I came back home from Rite Aid because Rite Aid was having a sale on Oreos, 20 cents less. And I remembered in the flyer, hey, don't have work on Friday, might as well just go. So this is when my key was broken when I was trying to get into my house. And it's a very sad day overall, because my parents and I were having a fight about it. How, we're going to get you a new key. It was, it was not important, but I remembered it very well. It was February 12th, 2016, and during the fight, especially when I called the locksmith, they were annoyed about that. So, no, we're not going to break the lock. While the fight was going on, Teddy had passed out in my kitchen, and he wasn't breathing, and we had to take him to an animal hospital in Forest Hills, and the vet thankfully was able to save him the first time. The first time was the lucky time, but this is where it got worse. Over the next couple of months, Teddy's hearing would get bad. The arthritis would start around this time. And we now fast forward, believe it or not, and you're going to laugh at this in a way. It's kind of funny. We now go a day before my exact 22nd birthday. November 7th, 2017. A couple weeks before this, and keeping in mind, this was the same day that we were voting for mayor here in New York City. This was the same day. So a couple weeks before, Teddy got his annual checkup. And this was back in October. And the vet said he needed another surgery. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We just put him through this back in February of 16. Now here we are in November of 17, and now we have to give him another surgery? I'm like, Doc, you gotta be kidding me. He's already been through one. He's like, has to do it. So, spent another $1,000 just to get the surgery done, and thankfully he survived that, but the hearing got worse over time. And this is where it really gets to be worse at the problem. So, we now go to 2019. We now go to, I would say, April. And what really got worse, and this was back, I think, in February, too, because it always seems February has been a bad month for Teddy. It seems that way, right? So, there's another tumor. But this time, it's on his paw. The original, well, same thing in 2017, but 2016, it was internal. It was an internal issue with the tumor. In 2017, it was his paw. Same in 2019. 2018, somehow Teddy was lucky. So we go to 2019. We now go to April. Teddy gets another surgery. Third surgery now. This is the third surgery that this dog has had to go through. And then, as I said before, the vet wanted to attempt to do a fourth surgery. And he wanted him to go to a specialist. And the vet warned that he's been through 3 surgeries. He's an old dog. He was supposed to be 11 years old in June. And now we decided to do the right thing. And as I said before, I didn't want to go through the emotional grief that one of my ex-girlfriends went through. I didn't want to go through her pain. And, if she's watching this video, I'm going to give it to her anyway, privately. But don't worry, this is not Laura. This is a different ex. She knows who she is, but her pain, and I felt bad for her because I knew her dog very well when we were dating. And now with this tragic loss, and Laura had a dog for a long time, and surprisingly, dog lasted for a while, and I'm not going to get into that, but it was a cute dog. It was very adorable. Trust me, you want to love this dog. She had an amazing dog. But anyhow, Teddy only got to meet one of my friends, and I'll go into this story. So, this was back in November of I think this was December of 2015. So, me and a friend were hanging out in the city, and he wanted to go back to Queens, and he's like, "Can I meet your dog?" It's like, "Are you serious? You really want to meet my dog?" 'Cause I've been telling him about Teddy. So, he came over, and I planned it out with him. I told him, you know what, when my parents are out, you can come see him. And he came over. We went back to Queens afterwards, and we actually took the Q46 back to where I live here in Fresh Meadows because my friend had mentioned to me, I've never taken a New York City bus. And he's like, and I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, I lived in Long Island so long. I've never taken a New York City bus. Well, this is your first time. So, Teddy was all over my friend. And my friend and Teddy were, they loved each other. It was a smooch fest in a way, but the funny thing about when my friend came over was when Teddy was in the kitchen, he wanted to know why me and my friend were watching TV in the living room, and it was a good moment. And thankfully, my friend left my house. Teddy said goodbye, and to him, and it was a very emotional moment. And that photo, believe it or not, for the thumbnail that I had taken, I took that picture, was exactly the night before Teddy was put down. So it was an emotional time for me and my parents now, because we have to look at dog medication, dog food, what are we going to do with it. I don't know what we're going to do with it. I mean, I still have to keep this channel going, and I intend to do it, just like how I still have to deal with my battle with weight loss, which that will be for another time. But I wanted you all to know from me what had happened to this adorable animal that I loved very much, and now he's gone. He's no more. Now, before I leave, I want you all to know about specifically the Borbal. Now, the Borbal breed comes from South Africa, and I will read to you now from this book. And this book is, try to get a good view of it from the camera so you all can take a look at it. This is the book I've had for a while. I got it at Barnes & Noble. This book doesn't mention when the Borbal was added to the AKC, but it was added in 2011 to the working group, and ever since it's been competing in dog shows all over the country. The breed can be gentle if it's around the right people, like us. But Teddy was very territorial. I will mention that. So, pretty much, and this is a good characteristic from the book. It says, the South African Borbal is a big, strong, intelligent working dog, well balanced with good muscle and buoyant movement. Impressive and imposing, males appear masculine and females feminine. The head represents the breed's total character, and it's short, broad, deep, square, and muscular with well-filled cheeks. The top skull is broad and flat with prominent muscle. The deep, broad muscle tapers slightly. The loose flesher upper lip is just covering the lower lip. The strong jaws are deep and broad. The teeth well developed and the bite sensors. The V-shaped ears are set fairly high and wide. The strong muscular neck has loose skin under the throat but taut between the front legs. The broad straight back has prominent muscles and a short loin. The rump is broad and strong as in the chest. The tail is straight and short. And keeping in mind, Teddy's tail was sort of like a stimpy little boxer tail, but a little bit bigger in a way. But a little bit, width-wise. Large feet, well padded with dark curved toenails. His skin is thick, loose, and well pigmented with moderate wrinkles on the forehead when alert. The coat is short, dense, and sleek, and its coat cream white, pale tawny reddish brown in all shades of brindle. Now, the characteristics are a South African Borbal is a reliable breed, obedient and intelligent, with strong guardian instincts. Self-assured and fearless with its owners, he's a playful and affectionate and usually very gentle with children that the dog would know. However, the Borbal is a protector and can be very aggressive towards other people, for he is always fully prepared to guard his family, friends, and property. Visitors to the home must be properly introduced in order to gain his acceptance. That's what I did with my friend when he came over. Generally, he gets along with other dogs, cats, and other non-canine pets. The breed requires firm, sensible training so that he knows exactly who is the boss. Now to the origins and health. In 1652, Jan van Riebeeck went into the Cape of South Africa, taking along his own dog to protect him and his family in what was in a wild and unknown country. The dog was known as a Bullenbinger, a large, heavy, mastiff-type dog. So pretty much, it does have some of the characteristics of, let's say, your bull mastiff, but different than that. Similar dogs arrive from many countries, and surviving being of utmost importance, the harness of today's Borbal was bred into the dog. There were no veterinary services or medicines, so only healthy dogs could survive. So I'm not really going to get into this, but this pretty much, the breed was first discovered in 1652. So now, again, with the health, due to natural selection, normally is a healthy breed, but in my case, my dog really wasn't healthy towards the end of his life. Again, there's supposed to be dogs that last 10 to 12 years, according to the AKC website. Thankfully, mine didn't last 10 and a half years. Almost made it to 11. Almost. 1 month shy. About. And, Really not that much more to read. You know, I'm just distraught, and you want to leave your thoughts for, Teddy, I would appreciate that. As I said, I carded the video, so you can take a look at that for yourself with information about Teddy when I did that video about him in 2017. And really have nothing else more to say to you all about Teddy. I mean, there's so much stuff I can say that I'm really still missing about him, but I'll move on. Am I going to get another dog? That's to be determined. I mean, hopefully I will get another one. I mean, I'm such a dog lover that, I would like another dog. I definitely would want another one, but it would depend on factors, which I'm not really going to get into with you all. That being all said, that will wrap up another Saturday discussion video with you all. So until the next one, please take care.